Some reaction to this from Ibrahim Hooper. He's the spokesman for the Council on American Islamic Relations. He joins us from Washington. Ibrahim Hooper, Congressman Goode is obviously not going to back down. Your organization demanded an apology from him. You're not going to get it, so what next?
Well, you know, bigots will pop up every once in a while. We'll always have extremists in our society. But the real test is how the mainstream community deals with it. When we see people repudiating this kind of bigotry and intolerance, it sends a positive message. And when you see the GOP leaders remaining silent on this bigotry, it raises some questions.
The man on the receiving end of this, Congressman-elect Ellison, took the high road today. I want you to listen to something he said. Your group says Congressman Goode should apologize. Mr. Ellison isn't asking for that. Let's listen.
All of us are steadfastly opposed to the same people he's opposed to, which is the terrorists, and so there's nothing for him to be afraid of. And that what we should do is to tell our constituents that we should reach to each other, not be against each other, and we should find ways for common ground.
Ibrahim Hooper, in your view, is Congressman-elect Ellison being too conciliatory, too kind?
Well, I think he, as you said, he's taking the high road. He's going to have to work with people in Congress. He's new. He hasn't even taken up his position yet. He's probably the most famous congressman who hasn't even held office yet. So, you know, it's good to see him taking the high road, but somebody's got to speak out against this kind of bigotry, and unfortunately, that's our role.
And what do you expect, Mr. Hooper, from the Republican leadership? Can they get away with staying silent on this issue?
Well, we'll have to wait and see if the mainstream of our society lets them get away with it. Maybe they will, but if people are calling Republican offices and calling their elected officials and saying, you've got to speak out against this kind of anti-Muslim bigotry, maybe something will happen.
Well, let's try to take this up to 5,000 feet, if you will, the bigger picture. This is getting a lot of attention because this is a Republican member of Congress saying something that you call bigoted. I think many Americans would find outrageous and intolerant. This has been an issue since 9/11, as you know. It was an issue before 9/11, but is an issue much in the news since 9/11. More than 5 years later, even as we focus the attention on this Republican member of Congress, are things better, things worse?
It's a mixed bag. Unfortunately, we're seeing a growing level of anti-Muslim rhetoric in our society. We're seeing increased hostility towards the American Muslim community and towards Islam on talk radio, on the internet, and from a variety of sources. But by and large, Muslims can live as productive citizens practicing their faith. And, you know, we just try and deal with these bumps in the road and hope it doesn't become a trend.
Still a lack of education, you might say some misinformation in this society. What else needs to be done? And do you think when Congressman-elect Ellison is Congressman Ellison that perhaps he can be part of this education?
Well, we all have a job to do. The American Muslim community needs to reach out to the larger society and educate the people of all faiths about Islam and the American Muslim experience. And people of other faiths have an obligation to learn more about Islam and Muslims so that these kinds of things don't happen in the future.
Ibrahim Hooper, we appreciate your time. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.